week. But first,
today's highs, low 100s, and a lot of 100s ahead of us right through the weekend.
The record extremes of 2011 do continue to break records. As we said earlier, Oklahoma over the weekend broke its record for the highest number of days over 100 degrees. It's part of a double whammy with a record drought. But don't tell that to Oklahoma Senator James Inhoff, who still believes that the science underlying climate change is a global conspiracy.
He has repeated it over and over again. He is the king of the deniers. Here's what he loves to say.
The notion that man-made gases cause global warming is probably the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people.
I would suggest the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the people of Oklahoma is James Inhoff.
And you know, it's not just Oklahoma. This week, Las Vegas broke its own record for the hottest July on record and its hottest temperatures ever recorded. And it's not just the United States. For the second year in a row, Asia is seeing record high temperatures as well. And not just run-of-the-mill heat waves. Asia, for the second year in a row, is seeing some of the hottest temperatures ever recorded on Earth. Yes, ever recorded on Earth, with temperatures above 127 degrees. And we should also point out that the 6 hottest undisputed temperature records ever measured in Asia have all occurred in just the last 2 years. And it's not just seasonally high temperatures because it's summer. A new study in the journal Science confirms that animals and plants are migrating to higher latitudes as their habitats show increased signs of warming. They're migrating, plants and animals, at 2 to 3 times faster than they were in the last study that measured this back in 2003. Apparently, plants and animals do not watch Fox News or listen to Senator Inhoff.
Indeed.
Climate science has also opened a rift, or an opportunity, depending on how you look at it, for the Republican presidential candidates for the 2012 election on Sunday. Jon Huntsman, former governor of Utah, finally got the major news networks to give him an interview after he slammed Texas Governor Rick Perry's statements last week that climate science is unproven and scientists have manipulated the data. Here is Huntsman on ABC's This Week.
When we take a position that basically runs counter to what 98 of 100 climate scientists have said, what the National Academy of Sciences has said about what is causing climate change and man's contribution to it, I think we find ourselves on the wrong side of science and therefore in a losing position.
But Huntsman isn't the only Republican to attempt to use climate science to differentiate himself from the crowd. New Jersey's Governor Chris Christie is not running for president yet, but he took the opportunity this week to reiterate his acceptance of the scientific evidence. Here he is at a press conference back in May.
When you have over 90% of the world's scientists who have studied this, stating that climate change is occurring and that humans play a contributing role, it's time to defer to the experts. Like
Huntsman, he accepts the scientific evidence, but he says it's too expensive to do anything about it, which to me is about the same as being a denier. Arrests continue at the White House oil pipeline protest. More than 160 people have been arrested since Saturday at a peaceful protest in front of the White House to demand that President Obama deny approval of the proposed Keystone XL oil pipeline. Organized by TarSandsAction.org, the protesters say that the risk to the nation's farmland and water supply from potential pipeline spills is too great. And speaking of pipelines and oil spills, remember that oil spill a month ago on the Yellowstone River in Montana from a pipeline? ExxonMobil says the cost of cleaning up those 40,000 gallons of crude oil will cost an estimated $42.6 million.